Charles M. Russell was an artist who sought to depict subject matter that was unique to the American experience, which he found in the dynamic and fluctuating history of the American West. In our series, Russell in Perspective, we examine Russell's legacy in order to share with you the artist's continuing relevance, unearthed in the stories, people, and outlook that animated his life and art. One of Charles Russell's longest-held friendships was with John Youngboy, or Osimas, as he was known in his native Cree. The pair met sometime between 1880 and 1893 while Russell was making his living as a working cowboy in central Montana. Youngboy and his brother would visit Russell in his studio in Cascade and Great Falls, and Youngboy would sometimes pose for him as a model. Over the course of their friendship, they exchanged gifts with one another, often in the form of artwork. Youngboy gave Russell elaborately beaded clothing and other items, and Russell gifted him paintings and illustrated letters. We traveled northeast of Great Falls to the Rocky Boy Reservation, where the Ojibwa and Niah people, known historically as the Chippewa and the Cree, call home. Here we met with Pearl Whitford, the granddaughter of John Youngboy, to learn more about her family's history.
My English name is Pearl Rainbird Whitford, and my Indian name is Turtle Woman. Echo Woman, they call me. Echo Woman, named after a turtle. 3-4 Indian names. The other one was named after the rainbow. Kapamisikwasius. I'm just going to say those two names. Those are my Indian names. Them twins are my father's. One of them was the father, the youngest one. Simas, they call him, the youngest one. He's got a brother, it's his twin. He's the oldest, or Stasimas. That's the older brother. I was raised by my grandparents, besides my grandfather's twin. When my grandfolks passed on, then my aunt, her name was Rosie Gopher. She raised me. So after she's gone, I end up back to my mom and dad, my real mom and dad, Art Rainbird and Mabel. My mom's maiden name was Ochino. Her dad was Andrew Ochino, came from Canada. Most of these people came from Canada, and we're all related in this small reservation called Rockboy. Like I said, my children ask who they are. They ask how they're related, and tell them.
While Russell enjoyed many close friendships with Native people, one of the most important contributions that Russell made to Montana history and to the history of Native people in the region was through his efforts to help the Chippewa Cree attain a reservation of their own in the state.
My young days, there was no light, no electricity. We lived in a tent, sometimes just the logs, no floor, dirt. We were pitiful. All the Americans throughout the United States, they lived outdoor, living on the wild game. Lived on the wild berries, that was our fruit. Nothing wild game. You name the night animals that you see out there. They were given 2, 3, 4 locations that they didn't really want. Brownie for one. And I asked my dad, so why didn't you want a brownie? Because of the Harlenia wood. It's too rocky, too far to go get wood to burn wood, for heat. And cities were too far apart. And Ovando, that's on the side of Missoula. I thought there should have been a big reservation. My dad said we could probably get that if somebody could help us. That's one of they asked Rocky Boy to get that. Never set a foot. But then Browning said that was theirs. It was sitting horse, Sitting Bull. All those big chiefs. The Crows, state of Montana, North Dakota, and down Wyoming, down east, you name it. There were 12 chiefs. He named them all in Cree. I know some of them. And they had a meeting down in North Dakota, Turtle Mountain. They gathered there. They were deciding where you want to go. So they all chose Iowa, one chief, Iowa. There are some people there that talk same language that we speak in Iowa. And then the other ones all go north. He went spend time with the Eskimo. The other went down south. That when I went down south, Navajo, Eskimo talk the same language. They all went in the directions. They talk over here, North Dakota, and this little ways down there in Crow. Those people talk the same language. In north, the Crees, Chippewa over here, we talk the same language with these people. Chippewa from the east. My dad said that they know them 12 languages. My mom was born in Pryor. She talked Crow. I asked my dad. He said the same thing. My girl, he said, there's 4 directions here. There's mountains. There's names to them. And he told me about them, the stories, why they chosen them. This is going to be their culture and to pray, to have their ceremonies. There aren't too many left, our ceremonies.
From 1885 to 1892, bands of Chippewa and Cree people migrated to Montana Territory, led separately by Chiefs Rocky Boy and Little Bear. Little Bear and his band fled from Western Canada in the wake of the Northwest resistance that pit native tribes frustrated by broken treaties and food scarcity against government forces that compelled their relocation. Rocky Boy and his people traveled from Wisconsin, urged westward by a long-standing tribal prophecy from the 18th century. Both tribes lived a nomadic lifestyle in Montana, eking out a living with limited aid from the U.S. government. They faced open hostility from Montana residents, near starvation and freezing conditions in winter, and rebuffs from established tribes in the area. Their leaders began petitioning the government for tribal recognition and for lands on which to establish a reservation as early as 1889 when Montana entered the Union. Finally, in 1908, the U.S. Congress secured $30,000 to establish a homeland for the Chippewa Cree in Montana. However, aggressive lobbying by the Great Northern Railroad and local resistance from Montana voters and land speculators squashed the deal. The 1.2 million acres that had been set aside in Valley County were instead opened to white settlement in 1910, and congressional money spent mostly on rations dwindled away.
He was a cowboy that helped the Indians, not only the Chippewa Cree, the other people in the reservations. I think he spent pretty much Browning and all these reservations, state of Montana. We have 7 reservations. I know pretty much he goes to them. He spent a lot of times with the Indian people, especially in the summertime. Winter was kind of hard. So they kind of communicate to dream. That's what my dad told me. Even me, I dreamed too, he said. He was a great man. He was a nice, kind-hearted person to help my Indian people. He knew a lot through these people. He knew a lot of these things from the chiefs. He knew what he was doing. He knew how to pray for the horse, that he's always riding that horse. Horses are so powerful. They were lonely to you. To ride on, you treat that horse good. In return, you'll do the same thing. they helped each other. He helped him and he helped my dad to talk your language. And he helped him speak our language, just vice versa.
As Russell's striking cartoon Miss Montana from 1914 poignantly shows, the greatest barrier to establishing a home for both tribes was the increasing value of land and its demand by incoming settlers. Father, I have thrown my lands open to the world. These are Americans. Have I nothing for them? No, my child, not as long as the land hog has control. He is the only animal known that lives without a heart. In 1913, William Bull, editor of the Great Falls Tribune, and Frank Bird Linderman, author and long-standing advocate for the Chippewa Cree, spearheaded a political letter-writing campaign. Linderman asked Russell to participate, and he agreed, penning this plea to Montana Senator Henry L. Miles on the tribe's behalf. A friend of mine, Frank Linderman, has been trying to get a bill passed for a strip of land for the Chippewa and Cree Indians. These people have been on the verge of starvation for years, and I think it no more than square for Uncle Sam, who has opened the West to all foreigners, to give these real Americans enough to live on. I know the red men as well or better than most white men, and have found them for honesty to average with their white brothers. These people will work. Most all the Indians on reservations in Montana today, barring the old and feeble, are self-supporting. I understand that Senator Dixon is fighting the Indian bill. Mr. Dixon has the earmarks of a man that was never hungry in his life. I would like to lead the senator to the Chippewa camp right now with a thermometer ranging from 10 to 30 degrees below zero and show him what real starvation meant. And if he has anything under his hide like a heart, he would change his talk. Now, Senator Myers, if you can do anything for these people, I wish you would. Receiving a favorable reply from the senator, Russell reported back to Linderman saying, "It sure looks bad for the Injuns, but you certainly did your share for them. I wrote to Senator Myers, and in his answer, he said he felt the same as we do and would do all he could for them. Senator Dixon said that Rocky Boy's band would demoralize the people of Havre. I know some about that camp, and unless it's changed a whole lot, it would be like a dove fouling a buzzard's nest. Not that an Indian resembles a dove any, but if all the white men I know myself among them would drop dead tonight, I don't think there would be a jam at the Golden Gate."
How did my grandparents, the twins, get Charlie over here? He said through dreams. They didn't understand each other because he was talking English and my folks talked fluently Cree. They used to use their hands quite a bit, sign language. Our languages are so powerful. They have stories, songs to them. The alphabet song that I sing to you guys, that's powerful. Kids like it.
It would take another 3 years until Senator Miles was able to pass a bill in Congress that set aside 56,035 acres for the creation of the Rocky Boy Reservation at Old Fort Assiniboine, near Havre, Montana, in April 1916, and another year after that until the government completed its roll of eligible tribal members, of which 452 of the 658 names submitted were recognized. The combined efforts of Charles Russell, Frank Linderman, and William Bull made a measurable impact on the lives of the Chippewa Cree people that still resonate today on a reservation that has grown to more than 128,000 acres and 6,800 enrolled members.
Trying to settle in this reservation. All those people that living in Helen, Linderman. And I forgot the other one. He used to name them all. Dusenberry was one of them before he moved. He used to come spend days or night at the house writing a book. That's the called Montana history. So that's how I knew who he was through my dad and pictures. Even me, I fell in love with that old man, the way I heard about him. Be so nice among the Indian people. You would know how nice of him to take care of these people. Lithermen, to settle in this reservation, this is what they chose. There's a history about it, of the mountain to each direction. This is why they chosen that. They must have been a smart man, smart to have chosen this place, which I like, where I was born and raised. Most of us can't leave our reservation, we have to come back. Can't leave. People that moved away, eventually they end up coming back here. There's something here that attached to them. I don't know if it's a human or something. They like the Rocket Boy. They don't know each other, who they are. They don't know who they are. Some of them kids need help, like these college students here. They ask. You get on the move, you don't have very many old people to ask. There's just a few of us. There aren't too many. I just feel sorry for these kids that they come ask and who their parents, their grandparents are, how they were relationship. I always tell my kids know, they know, because I told them. I keep repeating these things over and over so they won't forget. They'll remember, they'll keep them in their heart. My dad told me, my girl, you're the only one that's sitting here listening to me, singing these songs, learning these songs with me. Where are your brothers? I had 3 brothers. They're never around to trying to help my dad to learn these things. I made my dad cry because I was a woman. But that's okay. We'll still carry on for the sake of my grandchildren. You're going to be rich down the road. I always often wonder what rich. Today I know what he was saying, what he meant by children, the children, grandchildren, large family.